Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Think and Grow Rich Mastermind Show. My name is Dr. Peter A. James, and I will be your primary host today as we dive into the book of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And not only dive into the book, have a dialogue around this book and its importance and its themes and its principles. I'm so excited to be here with you all this morning. I'm hoping that you've made up in your mind already to join into this conversation, asking those questions and making those comments because this is not just for me, this is for you, this is for us. What are the themes that we can apply from this phenomenal and historic book that can be utilized in our lives? That we have read before, but now really are going to be impactful today. Yes, I am Dr. Peter A. James, the high performance coach, helping you to shift your mindset. And today, I'm asking that you shift your mindset to be a better decision maker. We've talked about decision making this entire month, but today we're going deep, super deep. There's no distinguished guest today, no guest coming in from outside, and I have a co host with me that is unlike any other. Ann McNeil, could you please come to the table?
Oh, my. This is exciting. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. I am Ann McNeil, the master builder, helping you to build a stronger and better life and business with a decision. I've made a decision to cut some things. Yes.
Mm,
So we're going to talk about that because we are wrapping up our final session this month
mhm.
on the decision chapter. And this is our masterclass. So we are your special guest today, Peter and myself. And we're going to talk about the fact that decisions must be mastered by mastering procrastination. And so study proven has proven that over two, listen, it is said 25,000 men and women, according to Napoleon Hill, found 25,000 men that he analyzed and discussed. They found that from their experience, procrastination led to failure.
Mm.
This analysis disclosed that the lack of decision is at the top. It's at the very top. So when you think about your success and or failure, which what Peter and I are going to discuss today, are you procrastinating or are you deciding, definitely deciding exactly what it is you want? So Peter, I am so excited to delve into this subject this morning because it's going to be very interesting.
And I am deciding that this is going to be a great conversation for a number of reasons. Let's back up first. Our distinguished angels who are usually with us, Pegeen and Galen, have decided that they could not come today. And that's quite okay. That's quite okay. They had to make that decision. As hard as it was, they had to make that decision. And we've decided that we're going to carry on without them, right? And it's funny, Napoleon Hill says in the book, God seems to throw himself on the side of individuals who know exactly what they want if they are just determined to move in that direction and just determined to get just that. So now those of you who are watching today, as we dive into decision, we have to ask you, what decisions are you not making that you need to make, that you may have needed to make last month? And it's now the end of July,
Ooh.
right? What are you holding back on that you know you need to do? Your gut says it. Listen, you've been prayerful and you still know you need to do it, but you haven't done it. Lots of stuff. Listen, it could be business. I wrote some stuff down here. It could be business decisions, relationships, travel and vacations, purchases, career or jobs. and even decisions related to your health. What are you not doing? And then those of you who are with us, good morning to you. Jump in the comments and tell us and let us know about decisions that you have made, that you are thankful that you made, that you turned the chapter on from that perspective. Lots of stuff, and we're going to be diving into it. And before we even go further with decisions, let's take a step back and talk about this entire book, Think and Grow Rich, and these 13 principles. And Ann, here's my question to you really quick. And I want you to give me the shortened version.
Oh, wow. Mm.
What has this book meant to you, these principles meant to you in your life, but maybe even on a day-to-day basis?
Collectively, or this
Collectively,
particular
yes.
principle?
Yeah,
All of
the breadth of this book, yes.
I think clarity comes to mind.
Mm,
Clarity centered around exactly what I want, but in every single area,
mm,
every single day. And the totality of that, which is comprised within the 13 principles,
yeah.
has given not just me great clarity, but all five of my companies great clarity, because we start with the values, you know, the vision,
Mm,
the mission. And for me, all of this started definitely with um, that page 28, uh,
mhm,
book behind me, whichever version you use, which starts with how much do you want? Now it says money, but it could be anything.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so when you think about, all of these principles, they all come back to, and that's what it has done for me. Peter has given me clarity about everything comes back to what?
Mm,
It comes back to what? I am on a couple of boards, well, a number of boards, but they all focus on what's the mission vision of the organization. So, Peter, these principles have helped me to understand and question what's the mission and vision of my life? Why am I
mm,
here? Now, all of these principles, all these companies, and even this platform we're on today is nothing but a vehicle leading to that end. These are just means leading to that end. So, that for me is really what it is doing. And I'd like to encourage us to ask the question of our guests. Let's put it in the chat.
yeah.
What's it doing for you? And why do you show up? Ooh, like
I,
that.
I love what you said there, Anne, because when someone is first introduced to this book, they see the title Think and Grow Rich. It's all about money. But what you've been able to do with your accountability meetings, we'll talk about them a little bit later on as well, is that to show how this book is so much more than just riches financially.
Yes,
It's almost asking the question, and begs to ask you, are you living a rich life? Not money. Is your life rich?
exactly.
And these principles that we're getting ready to look at the video on really allow us to see it from a unique animal. Every time you see the word rich, every time you see the word um, just abundance, does not always mean money. Are you living an abundant life? Are you living a rich life? And these principles really allow us to dive into that deeply, because I want to be well rounded. How about this one? Richly well rounded, Anne.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Laverne Dorsey just made a statement, and good morning, Doretha, and everyone that's chiming in.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw her name, she epitomizes to me
Mm,
abundant living because of the work that she does, but
mhm,
just being centered. I get just being centered in who you are and whose you are. It helps you to
mm,
understand the value that you bring to life and to
yeah.
every single spirit you touch. We try the spirit by the spirit. We don't talk about that. But what these principles are doing for all of us who will listen and do the work, keyword do the work, it
Mm,
helps you quickly to come to a decision, because if you know you're on your way to LA, let's say, and you're in Miami, Florida,
mhm,
let's say, you are going to make a decision to go from point A to point B. You can go by car, you can go by air, you can go by boat, you can go a whole different ways. And so, but the decision stays the same. And so that's what we're asking you to do. Like Peter said, if it's a vacation, amount of money, it can be a home, it can be a project, make the decision. And I suggest that the way will present itself. So whether you fly or whether you drive, whether you walk, the way will present itself, but you must make the decision. So we're going to discuss these 13 principles. And what you're going to find is that first you must decide. That's desire.
Mhm.
I'm not going to go into all these. I can walk through these.
We can walk us through each of these step by step,
Listen,
right?
listen. Can you tee it up for me, because we're getting ready to go to the. Listen, it's just us. This is
Yeah, yeah.
phenomenal. Listen, it is just the two of us. Just the
And
two of us.
our guests who are chiming in fast and
Yes.
furious. Good morning to
Yes,
everyone who is
that's
coming
us.
in.
That
Yeah,
is
yeah,
us, and we really wanna encourage them to share and question,
yeah.
and let's really have a dialogue. This is our master class, and in any class, it is a conversation, it's a dialogue, it's not a monologue.
Yeah,
And so, first decide, and Napoleon Hill tells us in the first principle, he said, "You must have a desire."
yeah.
That desire is going to give you a decision about whatever it is you want specifically. But now, when you get that desire, do you have the faith
Mm,
to believe? By faith, you can't see it. You're just going to believe that it is so. I believe I'm going to go to LA. Okay. Now, I have the faith to know I'm going to go. But now, every day, I am going to write an affirmation. Literally, I'm going to write it every day. I am going to LA. First thing in the morning, I write it. I'm going to LA. At night, I am going. Where am I going? Everybody just put in the chat. Hey, it's Masterclass. I am going to LA.
right.
That is the next principle. You see, because auto suggestion is repetition. What is
Hmm.
it that you want, that you are willing twice a day to write it? Don't just recite it, write it. Write it. Peter, we're in a clarity. We call it McNeil factor clarity
Sure.
mastermind. And one of the exercises we're doing is the 30-day test.
Hmm.
Earl Nightingale. I challenge anybody to do it. You don't have to be a part of the mastermind. You can be, but you don't have to be. Just do the test. The test is take a card, just an index card, if you will,
Hmm.
and write on one side your goal, and write on the other side, ask, and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door shall be open. It right every
Mm,
day. But that's auto suggestion. But now, specialized knowledge requires you to figure out, can you afford it? What are you going to do to make the money? What is it exactly you're going to do? Well, I'm going to sell peanuts. I'm
hmm.
going to be the best peanut sell. As a matter of fact, I can specialize in boiled peanuts. Work with me here. Work with me here. Specialized knowledge in boiled peanuts.
Right,
This may
right.
be funny, but now my imagination is the next principle that's going to
Hmm.
kick in. How am I going to sell these peanuts to make enough money to get to LA? Well, I
Hmm.
can bag them. I can do a lot of different ways. I can put them in cups. I can put them in bags. I can do a lot of those, right?
Yeah.
Whatever way my imagination kicks in. But now the next principle tells me I've got to have organized written plans. Organized first my plans on how I'm going to make the money and how am I going to get there.
Hmm.
Then where we are right now, Peter, is that decision that
Yes.
requires me every single day to take action. Every single day to do one thing. If it's just one thing, prioritize them. One thing I'm going to do to get there. Then, of course, I have got to persist with a
Yes.
spirit of excellence every single day to get there. Now, where am I going, everybody? Can you put it in the chat? Come on
I'm
now.
seeing it. I'm seeing them come in the chat there, Ann.
And then I'm going to get together with my mastermind group and vet my plans.
Mhm.
They may say, you know what, Ann, if you want to get there in a day, you may want to fly. And actually, there's a lot of different flights you could take, depending upon how much you want to pay. Mastermind accountability. And every week they're checking in on me, and I'm checking in with them with my written plans. But then, of course, there is the mystery of sex transmutation. It is not about the act as much as it is the transference of my energy from one form to take that energy and put it into my plans and my creativity to figure out how am I going to get there. And then, of course, the subconscious mind, the brain, and the sixth sense all come together.
Mhm.
And of course, before you know it, voila, I've arrived in LA. And so thank you, Brittany. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you, everybody. But Peter,
Yeah.
that's my decision in the 13 steps on how I'm going to get to LA.
And I love it. Those of you who just joined us, you missed Ann McNeil figuring out how she's going to go to Los Angeles via Think and Grow Rich Napoleon Hill style. But just in case you missed it, we have almost a video to be able to give you a little bit more detail. Here it is.
Number one is desire. Napoleon Hill said that everything starts with a burning desire, a compelling reason for doing what it is we do. Step two is faith, having belief in our ability to attain that which we desire. Step three is what we call autosuggestion. Autosuggestion simply means being very intentional about the things that we are pouring into our thoughts, into our brains, and into our consciousness. Our brains, our minds will receive everything automatically, but we have to work extra hard to make sure that the positive things are what we are feeding ourselves, because those positive thoughts are going to turn into positive actions. Step number four is specialized knowledge. No one person knows everything, even about whatever their particular area of expertise might be. And the value of the MasterMind principle is using the specialized knowledge of other people. Step number five is imagination, the workshop of the mind. Everything starts with our imagination and our thoughts, the burning desire to transform those thoughts into our reality. In order to do that, we have to take a look at step 6, which is organized planning. That is how we crystallize our desire into action, organizing ourselves. Having the thought and not acting on the thought isn't going to get us anywhere. We have the thought, we go through the organized planning to transform that thought into action. Step number 7 is decision. What Napoleon Hill said is the mastery of procrastination. Napoleon Hill said that the antidote to procrastination is simply to make a decision and then move on that decision. Step 8 is persistence. We have to have a sustained effort which is induced by our faith in order to achieve our goals. One of Napoleon Hill's books I love, even the title, 3 Feet from Gold. Those people who became rich during the gold rush in the Wild Wild West days didn't do that because they were necessarily smarter or had better information than anyone else. It's because they stayed just a little bit longer. Sometimes people left when they were just literally 3 feet from gold. So hanging in there, being persistent, is step number 8. Step number 9, the power of the mastermind, the driving force. None of us can accomplish anything on our own. Everybody, I don't care who you are, from the most prominent person to the person who might be considered the lowest on the totem pole, everybody has someone who helped them get to where they are. And the power of the mastermind is being able to use those influences around us, use the thoughts, use the knowledge, use the exploration of other people to help us in achieving our goal. Step number 10, the mystery of sex transmutation. This title can be a little confusing, but essentially what the mystery of sex transmutation means is that we oftentimes in our society think of sex as being purely physical. It is absolutely physical, but what Napoleon Hill teaches us is that sex also has an emotional element, and that sex is the strongest of our desires. that if we can take our sexual energy, transform that into positive, creative influences, it can propel us to new heights. And so we spend quite a bit of time talking about the mystery of step 10, which is sex transmutation. Step number 11 is the subconscious mind, which Napoleon Hill tells us is the connecting leap between our human mind and the infinite intelligence, the source of all thought, the source of all creativity. Conscious mind, we spent some time talking about how we use that through the influence of autosuggestion and what we're feeding into our mind. Step number 12, which is the brain, the broadcasting and receiving station of thought. Final step number 13, the sixth sense, the door to the temple of wisdom. This is the final step through which infinite intelligence may and will communicate voluntarily without any effort from or demands by the individual. The principle is the apex of the philosophy. It can be assimilated, understood, and applied only by first mastering the other 12 principles.
Good stuff. Great stuff. We looked at it from two different ways. Let's go back to decision, though, right? Today we're talking about decision. And those of you who are joining us, I'm loving the fact that you are typing in some of the goals and decisions that you know you need to make. Please continue to do that. Or maybe some that you haven't made that you know you need to make, or some that you have made already. So here's a couple of quotes from Napoleon Hill in the book. Procrastination, the opposite of decision, is a common enemy which practically every individual must conquer. I have to ask you all, how is procrastination playing into your lack of decision making? And some of you may be more procrastinators than others, and you know who you are. We don't have to call you out. You know who you are. What's getting in the way? That's a question I ask many of my clients. What's getting in the way of you accomplishing your goal? It might be you yourself. It might be others. Napoleon Hill says if you are influenced by others' opinions when you reach decisions, you will not succeed in any undertaking, much less in that of transmuting your own desire into money. Who are you letting get in the way? Whose opinions, whose thoughts? Sometimes, if you're like me, you have let your deceased relatives' impressions on you get in the way. And what I mean by that is my mom passed away 20 plus years ago. And some of the decisions I make today are still as a result of how I know she would feel about me doing things moving forward. And I had to kind of be aware of that, be cognizant of that. And how is that helping me or maybe hindering me a little bit? So, Anne, I'm diving in deep right now. I'm going so deep, but I think this is some of the things that we need to hear around decision making. What are your thoughts? You are on mute though. You talking to yourself, Anne.
I'm deciding. Listen, though, Peter, you brought up something when you shared a quote by Napoleon Hill, because one of the quotes I remember, if I get it
Mhm,
right, he said, thoughts backed by a strong
mhm,
mm, desire, they have a tendency basically to manifest themselves.
yeah.
And so when we are clear about what we want, and I'm just reading the chat,
Mhm,
Imelda, if you don't mind, I'll share one of the ones you placed in the chat. You talked about making a decision about your health.
mm,
And we often talk about the wealth. I think that for every item that's in the chat, we're going to challenge you, each of you, anybody that's chatting with us. Imagine the specificity you need to see and then write exactly what kind of health do you want? How do you see yourself? How do you feel? Write it down in great detail. I am beautiful. I am strong.
mm,
I am awesome. I am healthy. My health is my wealth. And then you begin to describe internally how your organs are operating. Now you're speaking the present tense. I am healthy. I am smart. I am wise. I am all of these things. Don't worry about how it's going to happen. I'm not asking you
Mm-hmm.
to exercise. I'm not asking you to take any vitamins. I'm not asking or selling anything but a decision. And this, Peter, I really cannot
Mm-hmm.
express the power of a well-defined decision. Actually, it's in the book. If you think about all of the people who made quick, definite, strong decision, Ford decided, I'm not changing this model. The 56 men decided, I'm not going to be harassed by the British. Listen, Charles Schwab decided, I am not going to continue to fool with all of these little steel makers. I am deciding to bring them all together. And we know it now as U.S. Steel. Started first chapter. Barnes decided, hey, I am the businessman of, Edison. And so every step of the way, all throughout this book, example after example after example, but that's not what's important. We're talking to each one of you. What is it that you are deciding and you're willing to be so crystal clear about exactly what you want, not how you're going to get it? Exactly what you want, not, I'll use myself. I decided December 31st, I wanted $1,000. Didn't know how. The book told me, don't worry about that. Just Ann McNeil, make a clear decision. You can call it a desire of exactly what you want. And it took me 10 years. This is just my story. It took me 10 years to save $1,000 because along the way I had to become, come on, somebody. This is real. I had to become, I am becoming that person.
Mm-hmm.
And that goal, Peter, went from $1,000 a year
Mm-hmm.
to $1,000 a month saved, $1,000 a week. Now the goal is to save passively $1,000 a day, passive, which requires another decision. Again, it doesn't matter what you want, each of you. We talk about all of the areas of your life. Decide, and like Peter said, what are some decisions you should have made?
Right. Right.
Go back to you, Peter, but what's some decisions you should have made?
And you said a couple of things that just brought thoughts to my head. Number one, quick decisions. Have you ever been presented with someone who says, "Oh, you have to make a decision today on this in order to get this deal"? 9 times out of 10, I'll tell them it's not for me then, because I'm not in the business of quick decisions because someone else is telling me I need to make a quick decision.
Can I be a contrarian here?
That was for somebody.
Can I be a contrarian here for a second?
Yeah.
So let's talk about what Peter just said.
Yeah.
Under what circumstances would that decision have been different? And this is so deep. Oh, this is so deep.
Yeah, I like where you're going with this. Yep.
Oh, yes. You see, that is the foundation of the decision. Your desire. If you are clear about the desire and somebody comes to you with a quick decision you must make and it aligns with your desire, yes.
That is the caveat.
Consider it done. Now, but going back to what he said, no, I'm not going to, because prior to that, that question and that opportunity did not fit. I mean, this is so deep because so often we make quick decisions, slow decisions before we have a desire. Before you have a desire, you cannot make any decision. You see, you see, the men that created that Declaration of Independence, they had a desire for freedom. So anything that came to them that was opposite of that, it didn't fit. It didn't fit. You see, Ford decided, you know, I don't need to change the model. I'm making lots of money. What are they going to do? I'm the only manufacturer of these cars. Deal with it. But and I want to just make sure, Peter, as we're talking about a decision and procrastination, we oftentimes, you see, I believe from what I've read, and I've not read a lot, but enough to know that procrastination kicks in when I'm indecisive about what I desire.
Mm,
Come on.
mm,
I went to a conference. We were talking about this. A group of women and myself are part of the National Association of Black Women in Construction. I went to a conference a week ago in Jacksonville, and I invited this friend who's actually, she's a coaching client, to join me for breakfast. And she was telling this story about me yesterday. And I'm just reliving it in my mind real quickly because she was talking about how every single person I talked to, and she's telling the story about me, and I'm telling the story that she was telling. Okay.
mhm,
But what point she was making is that every single person she talked to, she was very clear and was helping them, not asking for anything in return.
mhm,
But that's a decision that was made long time ago to serve, not to be served. But there is a word that says that you will receive more than you give.
mm.
So I know that I'm the beneficiary of the giving, but I made a decision to serve. And so I want to just encourage all of you that's listening, keep putting in the chat, what is it that you're deciding? Because the other power in a decision is write it down. And this may be the only place you're writing.
That's okay.
Yes. Yes, it may be the only place that they're actually writing down these goals.
I love what you were saying there, Anne, about even the example that I made about the quick decisions. You're so right, because if you've had in your mind that you need to do something and the opportunity is presented in front of you in a phenomenal fashion because you've been telling yourself this for a while, it may be time to make that quick decision when that opportunity arises. Here's a quick example. I I don't I'm not a big TV watcher. I know I need to buy a TV for my living room because I have old TVs in my house. And it's just not a priority. I know I need one. If I'm presented with a phenomenal deal to get one that fits exactly where it needs to go, it's time for me to get it. I know I need it. It's presented itself. It's time. But what happens oftentimes is we're presented with things that we know don't fit. And
I,
the
whoa, whoa, whoa,
deal
whoa,
seems,
whoa, 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 wait, but see, let's go
mhm.
back to desire. We know don't fit. But how do you know it don't fit if you don't know what you want? I just want to stay here for a second.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You have to know that desire. You have to know,
Yes,
yeah, you have to know that what's the desire, the path. You're right.
car. Let's talk about a car. I
Yeah.
did a, I've started, I'm going to give a shout out to Kate Dunn. Any of you that know Kate Dunn, I think she's one of the smartest women. She does a course, she does courses. But what I love about her, she's so energetic, she's so smart about how to build not just courses, but how to build community. And one of the things that she said in one of the coaching programs that I'm in, I'm going to give a shout out also to Andy Enriquez. Yes, send the brother some love. He's also one of the smartest men, well, next to my boyfriend, of course. But what Kate Dunn said as a part of Andy's program, she said, live in your groups. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, I have this group. I'm not living in this group. I made a decision, right? Made a decision. I made a decision to live in the group. Now, what does that look like? She said, go live every now and then. So I decided, I'm going to go live in the group. And when I decided to go live in the group, everything started coming to me to support the decision that I made to build the group to add value to other people. Just a minute or two. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because we are bombarded every single day with information that does not connect with
Mm,
what your ultimate goal is.
right.
And so when you're very clear about that ultimate goal, and so one of the things that I decided to do in this 1 minute group um, live that I was doing, I talked about 10 C's, and one of them was clarity. But one of the things that I said, I was actually sitting in waiting to get my car serviced, and I talked about a decision to get a car. So every single one of you that's listening, you drive a car. Think about what kind of car you drive
Mm-hmm.
and what decision you made before you purchased that car. Mm, mm, mm. I decided that I needed to get a car years ago. Years ago. I decided what color, I decided what make, I decided what model. Now, think about just something as simple as a car.
Mm,
Now, I want to go back to what Imelda put in the chat when she talked about her health and different things. Decide every single area. We're always talking about the money, Peter.
yeah, yeah,
With each of us, if we decide what kind of what money we want, how much of it do you want?
yeah.
What are you going to do with it? See, the money's not going to pull you. It's not going to pull you. But whatever you're going to do with the money, it might be an education for your children. It might be a new home. It might be that car. Then you decide to describe that car, that house in such great detail. Get pictures. And Peter, as we walk through this decision
Mm-hmm.
factor, and Peter and I were talking before this program started, I said, I think this principle is one of the most critical. And then I laughed at myself, and Peter laughed at me too. You want to tell him what you said?
Because we say that for every single one.
What about each of you? Which is your favorite principle and why? Put it in the chat. But what I'm learning, everybody, is this. I now, after since 79 of being in this book, I am just learning just a little bit more, not a lot, every week, about the power of the decision to decide what you want first. You see, the subconscious mind, the brain, organized plans, the imagination, they have nothing to work on. They have nothing to feed on. Nothing. If you don't give it something to work with.
Yeah.
That's deep. I mean, I'm becoming speechless, Peter, because the more I think about it, the more I am thoroughly convinced. And the more I look at my own life from my boyfriend, he's my husband, of course, yes, I decided to call him my boyfriend to keep it alive. What are you deciding? I mean, I'm digressing, but not really. Let me go to the chat for a moment because I can.
Got some good stuff coming in the chat here. Of course, Fly Girls Manifesting says, I desired a certain sum of money and it came in 2 months because I followed
Yes.
everything to a T in Think and Grow Rich.
Wow. Come
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
fly girls.
Doretha says, when you know what you want, you can make decisions promptly. Yes, Doretha, thank you so much. Laverne
Mm,
says, what's that burning desire?
yes.
Yeah,
Oh, hold up.
yeah, yeah.
Laverne didn't just say desire. She said, what kind of desire?
Burning,
Put a match on it.
burning.
Thank you, Laverne.
Good stuff, good stuff. And the desire is part of it. And our time is short, but I want to go into this
What?
really quick.
Excuse me, hold it. Wait, let me, what? We just start.
Our time is short, but listen, here's why. Here's why I said that. I want to go into an accountability meeting type of session here really quick with you. And there's a decision that I think I'm getting ready to make, but I almost want to talk it out a little bit. So, and I'm going to be very transparent. So, those of you who know me a little bit know I'm an educator. I teach. I'm a professor at a college. It may be time for me to leave there and to pivot. It's going to be a big decision in my life. And I'll tell you, I'll even be a little bit more transparent, Ann McNeil. This is a six-figure decision that I'm making. But I know it's time. I know it's time because what I do, my coaching, my business that I do is it's what I'm supposed to be doing. What are your thoughts on that, Ann McNeil?
I want to hear from the audience, from all of you that are listening in. Why
Yeah.
don't you put in the chat to Peter your, because see, this is the masterclass. We want to let Johnny Lloyd, I'm gonna have to give you a shout out too. Thank you so much. We love you, Johnny. I
Yes,
want
Johnny.
everybody to put in the chat your thoughts about the question he asked, because this is the masterclass. And we don't get this, Peter and I, very often. We have 4 co-hosts, and the other 2 had other commitments, which are phenomenal commitments.
Hmm.
And we're here to support you, all of you. And so by it just being the 2 of us, we have an opportunity to dialogue with you a little bit deeper
Yeah.
as a masterclass. And my first response, Peter, would be this. I
Hmm.
go back to the decision we talked about, and Laverne said it. What is your burning desire?
Yeah.
You see, let's step back a second. See, it may not be about the money.
Hmm.
Now, I'm in another phenomenal group with my youngest daughter. My oldest daughter, actually, bless her, she's in Ghana right now, vacationing for 2 weeks, and we're going to send her love and safety.
Absolutely.
But our youngest daughter, Ione McNeil, the baby billionaire, we host a program every Wednesday called # My Investing Story. And Peter, it is a year now. We've been
Hmm.
hosting, but we have been investing for 20 years plus 25 years, something like that. Now I'm coming back to your question,
Sure. Yeah.
the 6 figures. Peter, in 52 weeks plus,
Hmm. Hmm.
it's more than 52, but we've had a minimum of 50 people on the program. I am still in awe of the fact that out of 50 people that we've had come on our Better Investing
Hmm.
program, millionaires, some of them multi-millionaires, do not have a business.
Mm.
Come on, somebody. And some of you Doretha, thank you so very much for supporting us every week. And many of you have listened in to this program. It's a podcast. #My Investing Story. Come on, see, she said exactly. Listen to me, Peter.
Yeah.
They are millionaires. If you've ever read the book, any of you, The Millionaire Next Door,
Hmm.
these are those people. And what's so amazing is they got involved early or late in an investment club, investing 25, 30, less than $50 a month.
Hmm.
Now, sitting on 6 and some 7 figures, 99% of them do not own a business. Now,
Mm.
this is where I'm going with this.
Yeah. Yeah.
When we talk about your desire, it does not have to be money.
Hmm. Hmm.
Or if it is money, you don't have to be an entrepreneur to make the money. You need to learn how to make money. And I'm not talking about day trading. I'm not talking about doing any of those things.
Hmm.
This is an educational conversation. Educational. Better Investing has taught the principles of slow and steady wins the race,
Hmm.
the power of compound interest. Now, coming back to your question, Peter, What is it that you truly want? See, because you could leave that job and
Right.
make a lot of money, but not be fulfilled in
Mm-hmm.
what you're doing. Yes, you have clients and you're helping the clients, but you will never know the lives you're touching and changing by being in that classroom. And you and I talked about this a little earlier when we talked about the annual meeting and the lives we're changing by sharing the stories of other people,
Yeah.
like we do on this program from reading the book, and the lives they touch, you see, because there are people who will only hear your voice in that classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not trying to make you stay. I'm not trying to do that. Come on, somebody, help me out. Audience. Learn how to make money. Yes, Lakeisha Poplar, thank you. So investing in investment education, not day trading, but
Mm.
when you learn, you earn. And how do you earn? You learn and earn by one of my favorite authors by the name of Charlie Tremendous Jones says this: you and I will be the same in 5 years as we are today, except for two things: the books we read and the people we meet.
Mm.
The books we read and the people we meet. The books we read and the people we meet. And for me, at one period in my journey, this journey, I was doing 20, 30, 40 books a year.
Wow.
Doretha's in here with, yes. And then on different subjects, because I had to realize that the reading is like a good meal.
Mm.
You would not only eat protein. So why would I only read about spiritual books?
Mm.
You would not only eat vegetables. So why would I only read about finances? So as you diversify your meal and have a balanced meal as you eat, diversify your reading. So the question really comes back to your question about, we're masterminding, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
What is your desire?
Yeah.
Forget about the money they're going to give you and all of
Mhm.
that. And maybe your desire is the money. Now, if your desire is the money, definitely leave.
Yeah.
But what's the desire? Tell the world now that you've
And,
stepped out here on
and
faith.
so don't get me wrong, if I stay, I'm making those six figures. But I have to be honest with you, my desire is not to stay. My desire is that my reach would be even broader outside the classroom, as crazy as it sounds.
No, but you didn't tell me this what time it is. Wait a minute. It's eight.
I told you our time was
No,
short.
no, 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 no. Wait, it's 8:40, 8:40 something, 8:50. This is our show and this is our masterclass, and it's just the two of us. So I really want our audience to walk through this with us,
Yes.
because you stepped out here on faith. You started with a desire. It's a weak
Yeah.
desire, by the way. You started you audience, he didn't hear that.
I did not
One of
hear that.
my most powerful moments was, oh, thank you, Laverne. Hashtag my investing story of week, um, the week before last, with a 21, oh yes, 21 and 22-year-old millionaire young men that started investing when they were 15 and 16 years old,
Nice.
inspiring. Yes, thank you so much for that, Laverne. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for that. So true. And it's really about the money, learning how to make the money make money. But back to Peter's desire. Peter,
Yes.
I'm going to challenge you.
Yes, please. I love challenges.
Right, but I want you to write the desire, because you said that you reach more people
Hmm.
by
Hmm.
leaving the class.
Yeah.
And but I'm not hearing the desire.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing like Doretha or Laverne said, one of them said, I'm not hearing the strong desire on exactly what it is you want.
Oh.
Reach people. Why do you want to? You see where I'm going with this? Why
Mm-mm.
do you want to reach people?
I see what you go
Mm.
deeper right here. I'm hearing you say.
Yeah, you have to do that before
Yeah,
you
yeah.
leave that job. And let me tell you why. And everybody, this is a master class. So, this is no
This is good.
script here. You must have something that you want. It could be your vision
Hmm.
to change the world one person at a time, a mission. But whatever it is, you've got to be so clear as that desire.
Yeah, I like that.
And then, let's go back to page 28. Go back to this is how you answer questions. I'm talking to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
The way you always answer the question, go back to page 28. Page 28 says what? How much do you want? Okay, he doesn't want the money. Okay, it's not about the money for Peter. So his desire has to be so clear. He has to have clarity about how much, doing what, by when. He's got to see it. He's got to be able to quantify it. He's got to be able to measure it. He's got to put a color on it. I had a picture that I don't know where it is, that is a picture with a lot of people in the background and this person standing up front. And all you see is the back of the person facing the group, right? And that picture drove me for years. I gave it to my daughter, but it drove me to inspire the lives of millions. Now, so what if Peter's desire, number one, is to inspire and speak to millions? That's his desire. That's his desire. Now, millions of what? Is it millions of children? Is it millions of men or women or girls? Or what color are they? Black, white, Hispanic, what? Come on. This is what it looks like.
Yeah.
We haven't left the question number one. What is his desire? Now, once he's clear and has clarity about, that's why we do the clarity master. You may need to join us in a clarity mastermind, Peter.
We might need to talk about what masterminds look like, or even the accountability looks like on an annual or biannual basis there
Sounds
too,
good
Miss
to me. Sounds good to. Oh, this was a setup. This was not a setup. But seriously,
Yeah, yeah,
let's roll into that because we do want to be respectful of time.
yeah.
But I think that this was such an awesome question because we can come on and talk about Think and Grow Rich. We can talk about principle 1 and
Mhm,
2 and the 13 steps. But how do they actually live in your life? And how do you measure success? Because it's not always about the money.
It's not.
Now, but let me say this, though, before we move too far about the money. And I think it was Jim Rohn that said,
Yes.
that his mentor said, become a millionaire, not for the money, but for who you must become in the process. Come on. Okay.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it really is not about the money.
Yeah.
It really is not. Make it first. Make it first. Because so often we want to teach people how to make it and we've not made it first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I would challenge you with that, Peter, before you definitely make a decision one way or the other. And this is the decision principle here. I would challenge you to drill down into the desire. See, impacting lives, whose lives?
Yeah.
Businesses, corporations, what?
I love what you're saying here. First of all, we have a ton of folks. Listen, this must be maybe this is a template for us there, and they are chiming in. I have coaches galore in
Hey,
this
Misty
chat here.
Campbell.
So thank you, Inez. Thank you,
She
Fly
said you
Girls
asked for it,
Manifesting.
Peter.
Misty Campbell, good to see you. Someone on Facebook says, Peter, don't just count the people in class, but who are they reaching? Look at the whole picture. Laverne, just a lot. They're going in on me. They are going in on me. And those of you who were not familiar with what Anna's talking about with the page 28, which is the method by which desire for riches can be transmuted into its financial equivalent, consists of 6 definite practical actions. And he goes on to list them, those 6 areas on page 28. Please, if you
Please
have
read
not,
them. Wait, please read them. We have
you want to
time.
read them? Okay, let's go ahead
Almost
and read them.
definitely, because I want those people that are listening for the first time to connect. This is our master class, and it's all of us in class today, so we can do whatever we want to do. In other words,
We can do whatever we want to do today there. Yes, we are doing that. So again, those of you who have not heard it, especially in a scenario like I described, I'm thinking about leaving. I need to go deep to find out my desire. So the first one is fix in your mind the exact amount of money you desire. It is not sufficient merely to say, I want plenty of money, but I have to be definite to the amount. There is a psychological reason for definiteness, which talks about it later in the chapter. The second, determine exactly what you intend to give in return for that money you desire. There is no such reality as something for nothing. Three, establish a definite date when you intend to possess the money you desire. Four, create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once, whether you are ready or not, to put this plan into action. Keyword there, phrase there, whether you are ready or not to put this into action. If you have that desire, do it. And then number five, write out a clear, concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire, the time limit for its acquisition, state what you intend to give in return, and describe clearly the plan through which you intend to accumulate it. And six, this is very important. Anne's been talking about this one. Read your written statement aloud twice daily, once before retiring at night and once after arising in the morning. As you read, see, and feel and believe yourself already in possession of this money. Yeah, and I like it already. I like it already.
Listen, thank you, Inez, Jordan, and Wyman Wimbush, everybody that's chiming in, Misty, the Facebook user, Doretha, everybody. We really appreciate what you're saying. And right now we're going to prepare to wrap up and talk about two things. Peter is going to share with you who he is and what he does, and I'm going to do the same. So Peter, if you want to go first, we can wrap up.
Absolutely. Hey, all of you, thank you so much for coaching me, the high performance coach. My name is Dr. Peter A. James, and you can find me on any social media platform at Dr. Peter A. James. That's at DrPeterAJames. On Shift Your Mindset is my website, which is very straightforward. I look forward to connecting with you all. And thank you so much for chiming in on the chat. And I think we have something here.
Yes, it's called the Masterclass.
Good stuff.
Well, listen, we also want to remind all of you that we do host an annual meeting every year. And in 2022, we will be live and in person in Boca Raton at the Embassy Suites. And that will be on January the 7th and the 8th. We start out on the 7th with a reception, and it's like an open mic. A lot of what you're experiencing that we're doing here, everybody just come in at about 6 o'clock and they just get a minute to share what's happened and the transformation for the year. It is phenomenal. Many of you that's chiming in, you've been with us, some of you for 10, 20 years. Many of you who are listening for the very first time, you have absolutely no idea, but I would like to challenge you with this thought. Where can you go and be held accountable for your spiritual commitment, your financial commitment, your family commitment, your health, like Doretha Imelda talked about, your health commitment, your educational commitment, not about a degree or certification, but just the educational area of your life and growing that. Where are you held accountable for your personal growth and development or professional growth and development? How about your business or your career and your profession? Like I talked about, those people that are multimillionaires from investing. They don't own businesses. They just simply invest because they're members of Better Investing and they're learning how every single week how to analyze stocks and invest. A $20 bill, not 200, a $20 bill once a month. Where are you going to be held accountable for the recreational area of your life? Taking some time off, maybe once a week, go to the park, take a walk. That's recreational. Doesn't have to be anything strenuous. Just take a good walk, maybe once a day, like my friend Doretha does once a day. She takes a good long walk. But what about the civic area of your life? Are you giving? Are you serving? Are you helping others? Who's holding you accountable to that? And then your creativity, we talked about that. who's holding you accountable to being creative. Personally, I've authored 5 books just as a part of this mastermind process and creativity in getting to the point where I understand it's okay to write my thoughts and share them with the world. Write my thoughts and keep them to myself. Journal, pray, meditate. Whatever is creative for you, where are you held accountable? That's why I looked 40 years ago for a place I could go. I couldn't go to church and do that. I go to church and do some other things. I couldn't go to work and do that. I go to work and do other things. I couldn't go to my conferences that I go to, 50 conferences a year. Yes. I couldn't go there and have the accountability in every area of my life. It was just for business or for whatever specific area that conference is for. I couldn't find a place to go. So guess what? Yes, the master builder. I built a place for me and my friends. And then it turned into 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And when we got to 90 people in my home years ago, we knew we needed to take it to a hotel. So join us at the hotel as we hold you accountable for whatever your written goals are. Can't make it? Don't want to wait? Well, listen, today, well, I told Peter, we're hosting today our mid-year check-in. We're going to put the details up. We're going to put them up quickly. We're going to take them down because I told Peter, I said, yes, I'm going to say it, Peter, to the world. We're doing a mid-year check-in. It's today. I've been talking about it for weeks, but I also have been talking about shutting it down because I'm giving my all to those of you that have already registered. And for those of you that have not registered yet, it was a pleasure because it's too late. And so I wrestled with the idea of whether or not I would talk about it today. And so I decided, because it is virtual, and I think that it is the best return on your investment to have some of my time at my work, my business, and my profession. I'm $5.50 an hour. Yes, $5.50 an hour. I focus on billion-dollar programs in my business as a contract in construction. We actually have lunch with some of my friends called NABWIC, and we were doing it once a month for billion-dollar programs. And so 40 plus years, I've amassed a lot of information, and I desire to share that a couple of times a year. So you can catch us in January because it's really too late today to join us at 1:00 for the mid-year. But if you're interested in just connecting with me, you can go to my website at ammcneil.com. Next week, we have our Clarity program. You can register for that. It's open. You can register for our annual meeting. But today, those of you who have already registered, you are in for a treat. Yes, because you get me for 5 hours. And we get each of you. So let's tell the world what you're going to be doing this afternoon. It's a surprise, but I'll just give you a peek. We will walk through every area of your life in writing, in a hot seat, online virtually. And we will bring all of our resources to bear to help support you in the writing and the planning of your goals and actions for achievement. That's what we do. And so we're going to go ahead and wrap up so we can get in place for our mid-year check-in. But keep this in mind, every one of you that's listening to us. Join us live January. If we can put that back up, the JPEG for January, you can go to internationalmasterminders.com and you can register. You can go to Eventbrite and you can register. It's the January 7th and 8th, 2022 at the Embassy Suites in Boca Raton on your model road. And that is for your life, every area of your life, all 10 areas of your life. And what we do, we encourage you to write your goals for 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. I'm right now in my 40th year. And so I'm writing and have written my goals for the next 40 years and then 100 years. Yes. No, I won't be here, but I am writing my legacy now. I'm living the legacy now in terms of living a life of significance, to leave something behind, because I believe that whom much is given, Like God has given each one of you so much. But what platform are you sharing? It's not about me. It's not about Peter. We come on every single Saturday, literally 52 weeks a year, year after year after year. And this program we've been doing now for over 15 years, every Saturday, started Blog Talk. And so I could talk a lot now because it's just the two of us. And then all of you, this is our masterclass. And we cannot thank you enough for being willing to invest in yourself. Simply 60 minutes, 60 minutes on a Saturday. What better way could you think of starting your day? We could not think of a better way to start our day than with you. Thank you for sharing.
I love that. Love that, Ann. Thank you so much. Thank you to all of you who are still with us right now. Here's some bonus. Actually, Ann just gave you a bunch of bonus stuff there for sure, right? About our accountability meetings, both mid-year as well as annual. Here's some more bonus. By me being here every Saturday morning, this helps my business, my career, my family because of what I'm digesting on a regular basis and how it manifests in my life. So today was just a sneak peek into talking about what my desire is and then how that leads to my decisions. But now I have to ask you all who are still with us, what are you digesting on a regular basis? Who are you surrounding yourself with on a regular basis? You're here, but now what's the next level, even beyond here, to ensure that you see your decisions all the way through to the end, right? And thank you for hanging in there with us because this is evidence that you're taking this seriously and you're diving into this masterclass and even subsequently these guests that we have on a regular basis. This is phenomenal, phenomenal. But I want to leave you with this for sure. And what is your desire? What is your burning desire? And then now, as a result of identifying what that is, what decisions are you making?
Yes.
What decisions are you making? This has been a phenomenal masterclass, and this
Drop the
has been
mic, drop the mic, drop the mic.
this has been a phenomenal Think and Grow Rich mastermind class today. We look forward to having you all with us. We look forward to seeing you all today at 1:30, of course. And then definitely we look forward to seeing you next week, same time, same channel. Thank you all and have a
And
great day.
And thank you, Allison Ronis, for being our guest next week. We're looking forward to a phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal conversation with Allison Ronis talking about persistence. All right, everybody. See you next
Take
week,
care.
Saturday, same place, same time. And then actually comment, like, and share the show. Please comment, like, and share the
Yes,
show and bring someone with you that you care about next week to join the conversation.
love it.
All right, bye.